Did you know that the story of humanity might actually begin in Africa? Today, we're diving into a groundbreaking book that challenges everything you thought you knew about the continent's past. We're reviewing Zeinab Badawi's An African History of Africa, a sweeping narrative that puts Africa at the center of its own story. This isn't just another history book, it's a reclamation, a powerful counter-narrative to centuries of colonial distortion and erasure. For too long, Africa's history has been told through a Western lens, often minimizing its contributions, ignoring its complexities, and perpetuating harmful stereotypes. Badawi's book aims to correct this, offering a comprehensive account that spans from the dawn of humanity to the modern era, all from an African perspective. One of the book's most striking features is its sheer scope. It doesn't just focus on the familiar narratives of slavery and colonialism. It delves deep into Africa's ancient civilizations, its medieval empires, and its rich pre-colonial history. This is crucial because it demonstrates that Africa was not a blank slate before European arrival, but a continent teeming with innovation, trade, and sophisticated political systems. The title itself, An African History of Africa, is a deliberate statement. It signals that this is an internal account, narrated by Africans themselves, rather than an external observation. Badawi isn't just presenting facts, she's actively challenging the way African history has been written and who gets to write it. Let's consider the traditional narrative. Often, African history begins with European contact, framing the continent as a passive recipient of external forces. Badawi's book flips this script, starting with the very origins of humankind. This immediately establishes Africa's central role in the human story, undermining any notion of it being a peripheral or late-blooming civilization. The book explores the rise and fall of powerful empires, such as the Kingdom of Aksum, known for its impressive obelisks and early adoption of Christianity. We learn about Great Zimbabwe, a marvel of engineering and architectural prowess, which thrived centuries before European colonization. And we encounter Mansa Musa, the ruler of the Mali Empire, whose legendary pilgrimage to Mecca showcased the empire's immense wealth and influence. These are not isolated examples. Badawi meticulously documents the diverse tapestry of African societies, highlighting their unique cultures, languages, and political systems. She sheds light on the sophisticated trade networks that crisscross the continent, connecting communities and facilitating the exchange of goods and ideas. The book doesn't shy away from the complexities and challenges of African history. It addresses the internal conflicts, the rise and fall of dynasties, and the impact of environmental factors. But it does so without resorting to the simplistic and often racist narratives that have long dominated Western accounts. The arrival of European colonial powers in the 19th century marked a turning point in African history. The scramble for Africa led to the partitioning of the continent among European powers, with devastating consequences for African societies. Badawi meticulously examines the impact of colonialism, exposing the exploitation, oppression, and cultural destruction that it wrought. But she also highlights the resilience and resistance of African peoples, who fought tirelessly to maintain their dignity and freedom. The book explores the various forms of resistance, from armed struggle to peaceful protest, and celebrates the leaders who spearheaded the fight for independence. Figures like Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, Nelson Mandela of South Africa, and Patrice Lumumba of the Congo are given their due, not just as political leaders, but as symbols of African self-determination. The transition to independence was not without its challenges. Many African nations inherited artificial borders, weak institutions, and economies dependent on their former colonizers. Badawi explores the complexities of post-colonial Africa, addressing the issues of political instability, corruption, and economic inequality. But she also highlights the progress that has been made in areas such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Ultimately, An African History of Africa is a book about agency. It's about reclaiming the narrative, challenging stereotypes, and celebrating the richness and diversity of African history. It's a book that is both informative and inspiring, and it's a must-read for anyone who wants to understand the continent's past and its present. The book's significance extends beyond its historical content. It's a powerful intervention in contemporary debates about decolonization, curriculum reform, and the importance of centering African voices in the telling of African history. By presenting a comprehensive and nuanced account of the continent's past, Badawi challenges the prevailing narratives that often marginalize or misrepresent Africa. She empowers readers to critically examine the sources of their knowledge and to question the assumptions that underpin Western perspectives. But the question remains, who gets to control the historical narrative? For centuries, Western scholars have dominated the field of African history, often imposing their own biases and interpretations. Badawi's book is part of a growing movement to reclaim African history, to center African voices, and to challenge the legacy of colonialism. This is not just about correcting the historical record, it's about empowering future generations of Africans to understand their past and to shape their own future. It's about fostering a sense of pride and identity, and about challenging the stereotypes that continue to plague the continent. So, what do you think? Is this book a definitive history of Africa? Or is it just one perspective among many? And how can we ensure that African voices are heard in the telling of African history? Ultimately, an African history of Africa is a triumph. It's a testament to the power of historical reclamation and a vital contribution to our understanding of the human story. It's a book that deserves to be widely read and discussed, and one that will undoubtedly shape the way we think about Africa for years to come.